Welcome, everyone, to In the Spotlight. My guest tonight is a rising country music star with a powerful voice, a positive attitude, and a knack for writing incredibly relatable songs. Jordana Bryant. Jordana, welcome to the Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It is my pleasure, and I am excited as well, Jordana, because I've got quite a few things I want to talk with you about. I want to talk with you about making that move from suburban Philadelphia, yes, hometown, down to Nashville, your new music, which is really, really exciting. But first, I have to start with something even more important than any of that. Something I've heard you miss a lot, and something they don't apparently have in Nashville. Wawa. What's up with that? Don't they have any down there? What's going on?
Hey, I'm right there with you. I don't understand. I think everyone is missing out. I think perhaps they don't understand what they're missing out on, but I would be right there signing the petition.
Yeah, and what's crazy is having traveled as much as I do, there's some in Florida, they're in
hmm
Virginia, they're in other states. So hopefully at some point soon they'll be down in Nashville. So what's your favorite thing at Wawa?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't know if I could choose, but as a kid, I was obsessed with those what were those milkshakes? The ones that I'm talking about?
Oh
Something
yeah,
like
yeah. You get it out of the machine and then you put it in the. It's
hmm
like pre-frozen and then you mix it up.
Yup. What is that called?
I
I It's like
I know what they are. I don't
like
know what they're
there's
called,
something
but
with
they're
like an
awesome.
F, like a
Yeah.
flirt. I don't know.
Yes, I think it might be that. Yeah, but there's so
Whatever
many
those
great
were, I
choices.
was obsessed with. I mean, I'm sure they're like horribly bad for you, but they were my jam as a kid.
Yeah, and who needs to count the calories anyway? They're delicious. That's for
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And then if you have one with a nice big hoagie, who's counting calories?
Mhm.
So
Oh my God. I agree with you.
yeah, absolutely. Well, before I mentioned about your move to Nashville from suburban Philadelphia, so that was just a couple of years ago. So what was that transition like for you? And was it still like during the pandemic? Like, how did that all come together for you? And how did you navigate your way through all those changes?
Yeah, I had been coming to Nashville back and forth for a few years before I moved. And originally, the first time I came to Nashville, I'd been posting some videos on YouTube, and a producer in town, Seth Mosley, had seen some of those videos, and he invited me to come to Nashville and meet up with him and record a few songs. That was like February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And my dad and I took a trip. We were here for a few days. We met up with him. Seth, I mean, he's just one of the best. He's not only one of the best songwriters, but he's also one of the best humans. He's such a great guy, and it was such an awesome experience recording in a studio for the first time and being in Nashville for the first time. And the pandemic kind of halted us coming back for a few months, but after things had kind of settled down a little bit, I was able to start making trips and come to Nashville to write and to record and just meet a bunch of people. And when I was 16, this was June of 2022, I think, is when I moved. So, like 2 years ago now. And at that point, I had been coming back and forth to Nashville for what I guess like a year and a half. And yeah, am I doing that? No, 2 years, 2 years. And I just was, I had loved Nashville. I think it's such a fun and welcoming place. And by that point, it kind of already felt like home. So it was a really smooth transition. And I feel very grateful that I got the opportunity to be here and that I'm able to write and do music every day and be in such an incredible city for it.
Yeah, you're definitely where the best in the world are. And I know that I've talked with so many people who say how they've been able to elevate the level of their skills, whether it's as a singer, as a songwriter, as a performer, just because everywhere you turn down there, you're kind of surrounded by greatness. And even though you may not have been doing it as long as some of the other folks down there, I can see where there's been a lot of growth in terms of your songwriting and looking back at just sort of that evolution of where you were and where you've come from. But how would you describe it yourself? How would you describe your growth from your perspective as a songwriter and as a singer?
I definitely think that being in a city like Nashville, where you're just surrounded by so many people who share the same passion for music and who you can learn from really helps you grow. And I think being in co-writing sessions every day is one of the best ways to grow as a songwriter because you pick up so much, even unconsciously, from being in the room with talented songwriters of, oh, I never would have thought to say it that way, or, to do that melodic shift, or, even like small things of like, hey, we start the melody with a pickup on the verse. So for the chorus, let's not do a pickup. Let's, do it after the one, or like technical things like that that you might not as a independent songwriter think of. There's so many very like technical choices that you learn to make when you're in songwriting sessions day in day out with people who have been doing this for years. So I think it's one of those things where I think no matter what it is that you're doing, whether that's a sport, whether that's music, whatever it is, the amount of practice that you have greatly affects, your growth. And by being in Nashville, you just are able to get in so much more practice.
Yeah, you just brought up so many great points because I can't help but think, especially how lyric driven, country songs are, but also there's certain songs that just have that extra element that gives it that hook that people can't get out of their head. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's that subtle little change or that thing that maybe you wouldn't think
Yeah.
of, but someone else thinks of that makes the difference between a ninth song on an album and the first single to go to number one. So it's great that you recognize that. Now, in terms of your own writing, do you have a set process? Do you just write as the inspiration comes? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I definitely try every day to spend some time just writing by myself, even when I am doing co-writing sessions every day, because I really love bringing in a chorus idea, into those co-writing sessions. I think it's really helpful to have a direction for the song ahead of coming in, and I think you're just able to utilize your time with these, very talented songwriters to a better degree when you have an idea of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking for the hook of the song. What if it's, this is the melody I've been working on, and these are the lyrics. We could kind of tweak it. And a lot of times you will go in and kind of like massage it and make it into, an improved version of what you came in with. But I love having a rough concept for the song ahead of writing in a co-writing session. So a lot of times when I'm writing by myself, I'll be just playing around on the guitar, and I'll start like singing this melody and just kind of singing gibberish words. And a lot of times, I think you can kind of say something like unconsciously and let your unconscious brain do some of the work. I've heard a lot of great songwriters say that like um, that you can unconsciously come up with some really unique ideas that you might not be able to while you're consciously thinking about lyrics. So sometimes letting yourself just sing like gibberish words, you'll fall into an idea
Yeah.
that can be really interesting and really surprise yourself sometimes. So I'm definitely a melody person. I love starting with a melody, and sometimes it'll be something where I have a specific lyric or a specific story that I want to tell, but other times you kind of have to let your unconscious self, come up with it. And then you'll be like, oh, yeah, I mean, this can definitely relate to what I was going through last week, or what I was just talking about with my friend, yesterday, or anything like that. And I think sometimes the story can fall out without you expecting it.
Yeah, and one last thing along those lines, then, Jordan, I'm curious about is do you find yourself writing more from your own experiences or just from things you've observed from others or things that you've actually lived through yourself? Is it a combination?
It definitely is a combination. There's a lot of songs that I'll write from personal experience. My song New Friends was definitely from personal experience, but I think you can also find great inspiration through things that your friends or people close to you have gone through that you're talking with them about, and that you kind of lived through them. I think you can also find great inspiration through books and movies and different sources like that that you might not even think of. I think sometimes you can, as a third party observer, write a song from a different perspective. Sometimes it's hard to really process what you're going through, um, but you sometimes can process it to a different level when you're hearing like someone really close to you talk about it and seeing what they're going through, and you can write a different song, especially because there are definitely places for like third party song, you know, perspective songs in country music. Some of those songs that are like for example, Fancy by Reba McEntire, which is such a vivid story song that's written in the, you know, third
Yeah.
party observer perspective. And some of those songs can be really, really cool when they're not just told in the I, you terms, but when they're told as they really paint a story, you know, they really
Yes.
paint a picture that's telling a story in the lyrics.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things I think about country music in general is exactly what you just said, painting pictures and telling stories with the lyrics. And that's why I fell in love with that genre years ago and still love it to this day. Now, I need to talk about your latest song that just released just a few days ago. And I've got like 15 different questions, but I'll just start with one or two. Number one, what inspired Taylor for president?
So, as an 18-year-old first time voter, I really hope, you know, this election year to find a candidate that, you know, I can, that really resonates for me and that, you know, I'm excited about supporting. And I think what makes Taylor Swift such a powerful songwriter and entertainer is her ability to connect with fans and to really unite lots of different people. And I think it's so special. Her relatability is really so special. And I I really hope to find a candidate that has that similar universal relatability and that can bring together lots of different people because I think that's what we need. And I think that, you know, I really, with releasing this song, hope to bring some lightheartedness to the genuine changes that myself and my peers want to see this November. And if nothing else, I hope this song just encourages uh, voters and especially first time voters to go out and vote for the changes you want to see.
Yeah, and now I know it's early on, but how's the song been received thus far? What kind of feedback have you heard?
It's been really cool to see the feedback. I think Swifties love it, and that was my hope. I mean, I'm a Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift and I love her music, and it's been so fun to see how other Swifties have been really loving the song, and lots of people were excited, you know, asking when the release date was, and so it's been really fun to see that that response.
Yeah, no, that's great. In fact, you know, the only downside, Jordana, I think to Taylor Swift is that she's dating the wrong Kelsey brother. You know, he's a chief, and they beat us in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, so it's hard to get over that. But other than that,
You know what? I hear you. I mean, I think as a Philadelphian, it's hard to root for someone who's not on the Eagles, but you know what? I'll overlook it. Love is love, right?
exactly. No, I hear you. So, just a couple quick last questions I have, and one is, what does the rest of 2024 look like for you? What's on tap for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I have a bunch of shows coming up, which I'm so excited for. I am going to be opening for Laura and Elena in September in Decatur, Illinois, which I'm so excited for. That'll be my first amphitheater that I'll be playing at, so I'm really excited for that show. Got some more shows coming up, and lots of new music coming out. So stay tuned. I post about it on my social media, which is Jordana.Bryant. So everyone can check it out there and lots and lots of new music coming out that I can't wait for everyone to hear.
Yeah, and before I ask my last question, I have to compliment you on your social media because you know, we started the Rosie and Bill show years ago and in the spotlight because we wanted to have a place on social media for positive and inspirational content. And I have to tell you, every post I've seen of yours, every short video, every reel, every short, whatever it is bubbly, is positive, and you feel good and you feel better after watching it. So thank you for being a super positive presence on social media. We need more of it.
Oh my gosh, you just made my day. I literally, I mean, I say this in probably like every interview you'll hear of me since like the first ones that I did back in what 2020, but um my whole goal with music is just to add a little positivity to everyone's days and hopefully make people feel better than before they heard my song or watched my video or whatever. So that really warms my heart to hear you say that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I would say mission accomplished thus far. Keep it up. So
Thank you.
my last question for you is, and this is a very important one. What's a Geordie and how does one become one?
So a Geordie is we were trying to find a name for my community for people who want to, get to know me better and get to know each other. And I had been asking people on like my Instagram stories and stuff and been doing polls, and everyone just kept coming back saying the Geordies. And so we were like, okay, let's do it, because I think it's like a shortened version of like Jordana. The Geordies, which my grandmother used to call me Geordie. So I love it. You know what? I'll take that. So that's what we named the community. And if you want to become a member of the Geordies, it's really simple. You can just go to my website and put your email in, and then we'll send your invite, and then you get access to a lot of, like from the vault videos and old songs that I never released, and lots of cool stuff. And it's basically just a way for us to connect and get to know each other better. And it's totally free. You don't have to do anything to be a part of it. And I would love for everyone to be a part of it. I love getting to know everyone better, and we do some virtual shows, and it's a really fun place.
I'm sure it is, and I appreciate you sharing. And for everyone watching, I hope you'll go and sign up, because I know it'll be another way to brighten your day on whatever day that is, or whatever day you may need to be brightened. So Jordana, I thank you so much for joining me on In the Spotlight. And I'll tell you, if any of your shows coming up happen to bring you back a little closer to home, I'm going to keep an eye on your website and your socials. And if you're anywhere we can get to, we're going to come out and we're going to see you and hopefully meet you in person. But really appreciate you joining me tonight.
Thank you so much. I would love that. And thank you for having me. This was so great.
Thank you. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
You called me up just to call it off. You had something to get off your chest, some kind of script you were reading off. Couldn't say a word before you said, it's not you, it's me, and I'm only leaving 'cause you're better off if I go. But I don't believe it, that's not the reason, baby. You and I both know I would've loved you penniless and broke. I would've followed you down any road. I would've taken you with all your problems if you wanted to solve them, but you don't. No, you don't. I would've loved you even at your worst. I would've held you even when it hurt. Yeah, you could've had somebody who would ever, someone who's your forever. Now you won't. No, you won't. But I would've loved you penniless and broke. You didn't have it all figured out, but that wasn't scaring me away. And I know we could've worked it out, but you didn't even drive to my place to say, it's not you, it's me, and I'm only leaving 'cause you're better off if I go. But I don't believe it, that's not the reason, baby. You and I both know I would've loved you penniless and broke. I would've followed you down any road. I would've taken you with all your problems if you wanted to solve them, but you don't. No, you don't. I would've loved you even at your worst. I would've held you even when it hurt. Yeah, you could've had somebody who would ever, someone who's your forever. Now you won't. No, you won't. But I would've loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke. I would've loved you penniless and broke, penniless and broke, penniless and broke. We could've been kissing under these stars, yeah. We could've been giving each other our hearts. You gave it up before you even tried, but we had something that money can't buy. 'Cause I would've loved you